Good morning, my fellow Chads in training, and welcome back to another episode of the Body Development 2K Club Challenge. So, today is day 91. Just starting out on week 13, and I've got my scan done, and I'm feeling really good about it. So, I'm going to start this by sharing the results of my scan, my goals for this week, and then we'll go through as usual. You'll see my daily logs. I'll talk about how I'm feeling, what things are going on that may impact my training, what changes I'm making, and I'll show you the food, and then I'll do a wrap up of each day of how I think it went, and then we'll get to the end of the week and we'll do a big wrap up of everything, and I'll break down the stats for you. But that said, first step, the scan. Really happy with how it came out. I will put it up on the screen, but I will appreciate if you're watching this on mobile or it's just a bit of an eye strainer. I'll just go ahead and read the data out, but if you want to pause the screen or whatever to take a look at the stats in depth, by all means, feel free to do so. So, this is my 11th scan with Body Development and my 9th one since starting the 2K Club. And my results last time, so we have some context, was my weight was 67 kilograms. My water levels was 43.9 kilograms, and my body fat mass was 7 kilos. My skeletal muscle mass was 34.1, and my BMI was 21.5, body fat percentage was 10.5, and my waist to hip ratio was 0.79. So, pretty good stats from there. Last week I was sick, so I wasn't able to train at all. So I did my best to just try and keep to eating at a smaller deficit, and ultimately I ended up under eating. I thought because I wasn't being as active, I didn't need to eat as much, and I was wrong by quite a significant amount. About 2,500 calories worth, so I almost had an entire day and a quarter's worth of food that I could have eaten on top of what I was doing. This week, will not be making that mistake. I'll talk about the goals afterwards, but first let's get to the second part of the scan. Scan taken April 4th, 2022. It is a gloomy day outside, but I'm feeling pretty great right now. So, my weight is 66 kilos. My body fat mass is 6.5 kilos. My muscle mass is 33.7, so that has come down a little bit. And my waist to hip ratio is 0.80. It's actually interesting because my waist to hip ratio was slightly lower on the previous scan. So, key things with this one. Water mass, 43.6 kilos. I've actually dropped a few grams of water there. My muscle mass has come down. I wasn't training and I didn't eat enough. So there is a potential that I've caused a little bit of cannibalization there. I hope it's not too bad. My PT will give me more information when I have a conversation with him either a little later today or in the near future. My body fat percentage is now 9.9%. I'm in the sub 10% club, and I'm feeling great about that, honestly. My initial goal, if you watch the start of the series, was to get to 15% and then see how far we could take it. We're now below 10% body fat. My abs and that do generally show. You'll see in the progress photos, I'll show them towards the end of the episode so that you've got like the most up-to-date photos for the end of the week. It's worth of progress. But yeah, as you can see, what you'll see from that is my abs are like quite starting to get to that point where they're defined. They're not. Interestingly, I'm sub 10% body fat, and it doesn't just show up how people look on Instagram when they've got their abs out and stuff. A lot of it is due to lighting, and there is a process to follow when doing photo shoots in order to get them to really pop. I haven't got to that point yet, and I'll talk about all those tips and tricks when we get to that section a little bit later this month. I'm going to be working really hard this month. I'm super excited to be trying to finish this up by May. And my PT says it takes a bit longer. I'll extend the series, of course, but I'm pretty confident by May I'm going to have the full Chad bod that I'm looking for. And from there, the next series will be more about putting on muscle and actually be a bulking series. So this week's goal for food is going to be me eating 2,800 calories a day. I've already planned it out. It's going to be like an entire kilo bag of potatoes every day. It's going to be a lot of turkey, a lot of chicken thighs, and a lot of chocolate actually, which is cool, and lots of avocados, 2 avocados every day. And that gets my macros just about perfect, and it also gets my calories up to like 2841, which is perfectly within close enough to what my target is. And to be fair, like I could get it lower by eating slightly less avocado or something like that, but the problem is it doesn't keep very well. So if you just like cut bits off and then leave it in like a tub or something, it starts to go a bit brown quite quickly. And then the chicken thighs, obviously, it's a bit weird to be like cutting pieces of it off and then leaving it, so you don't get exact measurements. So I've just got to make sure that I'm pushing myself as much as I can. This still puts me in a deficit, so that's important for anybody who's at this stage. Ultimately, you're probably better served if you're just looking to lose fat, if you're just joining now. Watch the first two phases. That was my January and February parts of my transformation. Those is something that can be applied to anybody. This part, March, phase 3 and phase 4, is very much sort of tailored towards what my results have been and what my PT is set up specifically for me. So if you are following along at this point, just keep in mind that your results may differ and you probably want to consult a nutritionist, or you want to have a quick word with PT to get an idea of what you need to do specifically for you. And for me, because of the amount that I'm active and my metabolism and my results that I'm scanning frequently enough that I know the data and what changes to make, I need to be eating 2,800 calories a day to be on a cut at this point. So I'm gonna be really excited to see what my scan looks like next week. But for all intents and purposes, right now, sub 10% club, go me. That is perfect, almost in time for summer. It's just a case of now trying to put some muscle on without putting too much fat on, and then following the steps to get some good photos out of it. So I'm going to wrap this up here. The next time you'll see me today will be for meal number 1. It's going to be a bit of a doozy. I need to start cooking it right now. And then I'll catch you guys up for meal 2, and we'll do a wrap up of the day. Today is Metcon cards, spring season. So I'm not sure if the exercises have changed from before, but it's always a really tough class and one where you can really challenge yourself. So I'm going to be giving it my all, and I'll speak to you a little bit later. So guys, this is meal 1 for the day. Please ignore the fact that I season very generously and obviously chuck loads of stuff over my table. But we have a proper Chad meal here. I have 121 grams of avocado, 712 grams of potatoes, 220 grams of turkey, and 30 grams of absolute dark chocolate. All in all, this is a very, very good macro balanced diet. It is a lot of potatoes. I really, really hope I like potatoes by the end of this week, but we'll see. I'll check you guys in for meal 2 a little bit later, but we're on target for our 2800 today, so stay with me and we'll see if we get there. And guys, this is meal 2 for today. So for the big first 2800 Chad day, I have 606 grams of chicken thighs, 280 grams of potatoes, and 60 grams of chocolate. I was supposed to have avocado with this, but unfortunately my brother came and ate the other one. And I got a bit of a funny story about what happened with the first avocado. When I took a bite out of it, it tasted a bit funny. And then I couldn't remember if I put it in the tray that I used to measure the turkey. So I immediately spat it out and threw it out, just in case. You do not want to be eating anything that's been in contact with raw meat. So I don't feel sick. Ultimately, it was a shame because I really wanted that avocado. But that said, I don't have any avocado, and this is a very meaty meal. I gets me up to about 2,750 calories, so a little bit under for today, but I know where it went wrong and I know how to fix it, and it's very close to what I'm targeting. So I'm going to eat this, and I'll catch you guys for the wrap up a little bit later after Metcon cards. God, I hope I can still do this class. Hey guys, it's that time again to wrap up the day. Sorry, just make sure we frame ourselves correctly. So overall, really good. Had a great session of Metcon cards. That was really hard on me. First session back after being sick. I didn't realize that I wasn't going to be able to keep up. I got to some of the later cards in the deck and I was struggling to keep up with the rep ranges of like the 10s and stuff like that. For anybody watching this channel for the first time, Metcon cards is essentially each card face has been assigned a exercise. So like diamonds will be push-ups, spades will be squats, etc., etc. And then the number that you do will be whatever is drawn from the card. So if it's a king, queen, 10, queen, it'll be 10. If it's an ace, it's 11. If it's anything else, it's just whatever the number is. If it's a red card, in between that you jog for 10 seconds. If it's a black card, you sprint hard for 5 seconds before the next card is dealt. Very, very intense. And I've got links throughout all this video series, and Metcon card is definitely one I've linked to before. So you can go and check that out for yourself. It's a hell of a workout. So yeah, I was struggling to keep up with the later ranges. I did actually get into a groove where I was doing really well with it for quite a few weeks, and yeah, the first one back that was tough. So we're not going to let it stop us. I've got a stretch and move tomorrow. It's a class I really enjoy doing. It's rapidly growing to one of my favorites as we build up to taking the calisthenics classes, which I was told to do stretch and move for a few months before. So over summer I can get into the calisthenics side of things. I sound a little bit tired right now because it's just at midnight and I'm about to go to bed. So let's do a wrap up of the calories and talk about what went well, what didn't go so well, and then we can wrap this one up. So today I ate 2,743 calories. I burned off 2,992 calories, giving me a deficit of 249. It's about 100 calories more deficit than I wanted, but at the same time, my PT said eat 2,800 a day. So that's what I'm going to do this week, 2,800 every day, and we'll see how it looks on the scan at the end of the week. And that's going to include Saturday, Sunday as well, days where I'm not training. I'm going to eat those 2,800 just to see what happens. If my body fat starts creeping up, I'll talk to him and then we'll adjust. But this week, we're sticking to the plan. Things that didn't go so well, I'm pretty sure the avocado that I measured out, I accidentally put into the tray that I put raw meat in, which is why as soon as I took a bite out of it, it tasted a bit funny. I just spat it out and was like, nope, I'm not even going to risk it. And then as a result, I ended up having to try and fill the calories with chocolate. This is hyper inefficient. It's just adding, essentially trying to find calories from other food sources. I was pretty close on the macros overall. My protein's a little bit high, although my PT said that's fine. As long as your protein's over the 180 range, I'll be okay. It's not going to cause a problem. That can come out of fat, and carbs you want to keep no higher than 25%. Also, want to be getting as close to that 25 as possible. I think today was like 24. So I've got some more avocados. I do need to swing by the store. I didn't get around to doing that today. And pick up particularly lots and lots of potatoes. There's also something to keep in mind is that I cook generally I start the oven around 4 p.m. and then I'll eat my food around 4:30, 4:45, and then I train at 6. That's going to be a bit of a problem with these much larger meals when you're doing stuff like Metcon cards. I was getting like a stitch in the class, and I can't tell if that's just because my body's not used to just being trained that hard after a week of being sick, or if that is in fact due to the fact that I ate a massive frigging meal right before I went. So something to keep in mind, my fast, I start eating at 12, well 12:30 normally, I tend to eat around 1. I'm supposed to eat between 12 and 6, but I end up eating like 1 and then again at 5. So my fasting hours have been a bit tighter than usual, than the 6 hours I'm allowing. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure that I am in fact eating at 12. Then tomorrow I've got to start the oven by about 3:30, eat at 4. That still gives me less than an hour before stretch and move. So that is, I could of course always eat after I come back from stretch and move, but then I'll be sort of going a little bit outside of that fasting period of 6 hours. So actually, in fact, what I could do, eat at 1. Yeah, this is probably right. Eat at 1, do stretch and move, come back, eat dinner at 6. And then that's between 6 and 7. That will give me the right time. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll see how it works out. Normally I've eaten 2 meals before I even hit the gym, but we'll just do it a little bit differently. Hydration today, I didn't get through all of the water. I got through like most of it. It was the last quarter of my 2-liter bottle that I had to drink, and I didn't get around to it. So that's something I also need to fix. I need to start drinking a lot earlier in the day. I got to about midday today and went, oh, I haven't had anything to drink, and then I was trying to neck to 2 liters of water immediately, and it's a little bit difficult, That said, tomorrow's another day, stretch and move day, and we'll just keep going. So, guys, rest easy, and I'll catch you for the next one. Cheers. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another vlog for the Body Development 2K Club Challenge. I am absolutely starving. I'm ready for lunch right now. I've just got it cooked, and I'll be showing you in just a minute. But all in all, yesterday, really good day. I talked about it at length, obviously, a little bit earlier in this video, but I'm not feeling too sore today. I'm hoping to get through stretch and move and see if I'm able to keep up with where I was before I got sick versus where I am now. It may take me a week or two just to get back into the flow of things, but yeah, that class yesterday was a lot harder than I remember it being, and I've only missed it for like a week. And all of a sudden it was like I can't keep up with these rep ranges. What's going on? So easing back into these things and not beating yourself up is a big part of making sure that you take steps forward after you've taken a week out or something's happened and you've just not been able to train. I slept pretty well. Actually, no, I did after I fell asleep, but I had so many like lights going off in my head for different ideas for different things I want to do because I've got quite a few projects in that I work on. I do find that makes it a little bit difficult for me to sleep. So I'm like, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? Oh, you need to sort this out. So lots of stuff like that going on, and I need to get a little bit of be a bit better at just disconnecting and walking away. I do actually now have a weighted blanket, which actually helps me sleep a lot. Although funny enough, my younger brother is staying with me for a few days, and I didn't use it last night because I was like, oh, you've got to try this, and just chucked it on the bed. But it really helps me sleep. I do generally find just having like, it's like 10 kilograms of weight. So when you put it over your shoulders to go walk around your flat, it's quite a lot. It's like more, it's just under the weight that I've lost at this point. I'm like, I was just walking around with this on me all the time. But when you sort of sleep, it feels a bit heavy, but like it's kind of relaxing in a weird way. You guys may find it a little bit different, but weighted blankets, I can definitely recommend them. I think they're great. That said, I am going to be sorting out lunch right now, so just give me a moment and I'll show you exactly what I'm eating. And we'll work through today. Second meal I'm going to have after stretch and move. So I'm not going to rush it today because stretch and move is a little bit earlier. And I don't want to start, I've got a meeting and I don't want to start cooking like in difficult times, I guess is the best way of putting it. So guys, stay with me and let's get through the rest of the day. And this is going to be meal one for today. So we have 513 grams of potato, 234 grams of turkey breast, 151 grams of avocado. Not quite ripe enough yet, as you can see, a little bit of the core still sticking to the insides. Probably needed another day before it'd be perfect, but it is what it is. I'll make it work. And then 32 grams of absolute dark chocolate. So I've figured out that I'm eating a kilo of potatoes a day, and I was trying to get too smart with it, having like 700 for lunch. And I realized, why don't I just eat 500 for lunch, 500 for dinner, and then the meals become a little bit more manageable. I was like, oh yeah, that makes good sense. So I'm going to eat this, guys, and I'll have my class before the next meal, and then I'll do the next meal, and then we'll wrap up the day shortly after that. So have a good one, and I'll see you soon. And guys, this is meal two for today. So I have 601 grams of chicken thighs. There's 484 grams of potato and 149 grams of avocado. So really, really big meal. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit outside of my fasting period. I would have liked to have eaten this a bit earlier, but some stuff got in the way and this is the best I can do. So I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to try harder again tomorrow to get back into the cycle. But all in all, this brings my total calories up to 2,840 something. So exactly where I want it to be. I got some more news about my calories and stuff, but I'll talk to you about that in the wrap up coming up. So stay with me. And yeah, let's close out the day on a good note. And guys, it's that time again for a wrap up of day 93 of the Body Development 2K Club Challenge. So, interesting today, my stats actually came out at a surplus. I've definitely done the work. I work quite hard in the class. 8 to 2800 I was told to. I'm in a surplus. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but you know, my PT hasn't been wrong so far, so I'm just going to trust in the process. My advice was actually also to eat 2800 on days that I'm not training. It says 2800 every day now. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and I'm gonna be checking on the scans. And if I'm starting to put on the body fat, we'll probably adjust my calories accordingly and go from there. But all in all, a really good session of stretch and move, getting to the more complex movements. It's starting to feel a bit more natural. It's actually really weird for me when I train with that. Like one of the things I complain about is like, oh, it's a coordination problem, but my coordination is fine. Like I can catch this pen, obviously it works. So the thing is it's just kind of getting your mind to move muscles in ways that you're not used to. It's not so much a coordination like moving right leg, left hand. Apparently that's something that comes very naturally to people if you crawled a lot as a kid. If you kind of just got up and started running around and climbing every fence possible, then yeah, you're probably a little bit less. I move sort of like one side then the other side when I do climbing and stuff like that. So all these kind of little interesting things that I'm learning along the way. But I'll just say, yeah, getting to the point where it's starting to feel a bit more natural, and some of the more complicated movements, we're getting there. So yeah, an exact calorie breakdown for the records is calories in was 2,854. Calories out, according to my Garmin watch, is 2,653. Now we know from experience that the watch isn't 100% tracking it. Otherwise, I would never have lost as much fat as the data, raw data, was telling me. And I trust the scales and the food that I've been eating a little bit more than the watch. But I'd say that this whole thing would be impossible without it, because I wouldn't have a baseline to then make adjustments from. I'd just be like, oh, I think I ate enough. Clearly, it's doing the right thing. But it is like I'll probably just have to take into consideration that I've probably burned more than what this is saying, because it would imply that today I'm on a 201 calorie surplus. But the real test of that is going to be the scan next Monday. So if I keep eating 2,800 a day, and then I've put on, my body fat percentage has gone up, we're sub 10% right now. If we're over 10% next week, then we'll know that I'm starting to put on fat. And the important thing will be to sort of see, how is muscle mass affected? Am I gaining muscle mass? Am I staying about the same? These are all questions that I want to answer, need to answer, but I'm going to trust in the process and keep at it. There's we're on the home straight. We're going to get to end of May, and I'm hoping to be a bit more filled out. I'm feeling a little bit skinny when I see myself in photos. I'm starting to see sort of that ripped look, but I just want to fill out just a little bit more, just to get to the spot where I want to be. But a hell of a lot better than where I was in January. I look at the photos now, it's like, oh wow, that really is a big change, as if you've seen from the photos. And of course, as we go through the series, this is week 12, so normally when you do a 12-week transformation, this would be the final one. So of course, when you see the progress photos at the end of this week, I'll put them up next to the ones that I started with. For me, the journey will keep going until I hit that thing, so probably May. But if it takes a bit longer, then you guys get more content out of this series, and after that, I'll figure out what my next fitness goals are going to be and work from there. But that's going to wrap it up for today. A good day in the books. I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to enjoy my brand new weighted blanket, which is something that I've tried out before, and I absolutely adore sleeping with one of these things on me. It just makes me relax so quickly. So guys, whatever time of day it is, I hope you're having a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow. Getting ever so close to that 100 days now, almost there, just 6 days away. So today I woke up feeling quite sore actually. Stretch and move is a tough class, legs specifically. Doing the Cossacks, definitely feel it there. I've got a new class for tonight, which is called Boot Camp. I've never done it before. Normally I do fit on Wednesdays, but because of the summer schedule, they've changed it to open gym. So that area that I usually use for fit isn't taking place. So I signed up for the boot camp class to sort of see what that's about. And I'm a little bit nervous because I've seen guys with better cardiovascular abilities than me really sweating and struggling with that class. So we're going to be giving it our best shot and see what happens. But today, not much more to report other than that. I got a really good night's sleep, and that weighted blanket was such a good idea. Honestly, I sleep so well with it, and I actually wake up and I'm really like thinking, I go back to sleep. Where normally I just wake up and I'm like, right, ready to go, get out the door. But if I want a real good night's sleep, that blanket is helping a lot. Yeah, I'm back to eat some food now. We're still on 2,800 a day. I don't feel bloated or anything like that doing what I've been currently doing, which is super interesting. I'm wondering how it's going to look in a week's time, but we're just going to keep at it and hopefully not look quite as skinny as you've seen from some of the photos, progress photos. It's like I've lost the fat, and now it's just a case of putting on filling out just a little bit, so I don't look a little bit runty, I guess is a way of putting it. So guys, let's jump over to the table and I'll show you the food in just a second. And this is meal one for the day. So I have 494 grams of potato, 220 grams of turkey breast, 139 grams of avocado, and 30 grams of absolute dark chocolate. Pretty much the same as always. Very, very good meal. Comes out at around, it's over 1,000 calories. I'll do the proper stats later. I just checked. It's funny enough, I literally just checked it, and as soon as I picked up this camera, I forgot. But we'll be hitting our 2,800 today, and I'll be doing it before class. So So I've got to make sure that I'm all fed long before I get into the gym, especially with a hard class. I don't want to be having a situation where I've not given myself enough time to digest the food before I've started. Anyway, guys, I'm going to jump into this and I'll catch you for meal 2 in a little bit. And guys, this monster of a meal is meal number 2. So it's 500 grams of potatoes, about 550 grams of chicken thighs. I couldn't quite get it to 600. Just had the bones stuff measured out, so I've added the chocolate in to fill the deficit of calories. Which you can see I'm trying to point to it with my little finger there, but you're just going to have to see it yourself. If you can't see it, you probably need this in large print or braille. And then last but not least, there's 154 grams of avocado. All in all, this meal is just shy of 1800 calories and brings my protein count over 200. My actual macro breakdown ends up being 24% carbs, 26 or 27% protein, and then the rest is fat. So really, really good, almost spot on with exactly what my targets are. In about an hour and a half time, I'm going to be training in a brand new class, boot camp. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I've digested this and I'm ready to train. So I'll catch you guys for the wrap up in just a bit. So today I had a brand new class. It was boot camp. I've never done this one before. So essentially you have 4 different exercises and you're doing each exercise one after another, and you're rotating through them with very, very little rest. And your goal is to just bang out in as many reps as possible. So we had squats, floor press, chest presses, and we had a squat, lift, push, drop, which is essentially kind of just squatting down, pick up a heavy ball. Essentially, I don't know the actual technical term for them, but yeah, you stand up and you press them, and then you drop them, and you just keep doing that. And then we had the exercise with the ropes. I don't know the name of the ropes, but essentially you're doing this kind of motion with them, and the idea is to keep your elbows close to you whilst you're doing it, and then you do them together, and then you do them separately, and then you do them with a jump. And the one with a jump is unbelievably knackering. Like, I was actually, by the end of the whole circuit thing, we do 10 of those. I was completely out of breath. I was sort of down on one knee, and I was thinking, by the time I got to about round 6, I was actually thinking, I'm not going to finish this. Like, I'm not going to be able to make it. But I did. Obviously, my rep ranges sort of slowed down. I was actually thinking, I don't know if I can book this class again next week. And the PT was like, oh, none of you chicken out and don't book it next week. I'm like, oh, well, I was thinking about it briefly. But if it's tough, it means I've got to do it. But really, really enjoyed it. It was very rewarding to be to the end of it. I'm sure the results will speak for themselves. Anyway, to go over today's calories. So interesting thing today. This is the first day where I'm knowingly in a surplus, and I'm going to be okay with it. I'm going to trust in the process. I'm going to trust what my PT has set out for me. And on the basis that I've been losing so much fat so quickly, I don't believe the data I've been tracking with the Garmin Watch is 100% saying, yes, I'm at a 500 deficit per day. It would imply that I'm more at 1,000 deficit per day to drop that much weight at that rate. So that probably means that I can add on 500 calories, and that will be my actual base metabolic rate. Base metabolic rate. Sciencey terms, right? So today I ate 2,846. My target was 2,800. My calories out was 2,515, and that gives me a surplus of 331. Now, normally I'd be freaking out about this because the whole goal at this point has been to not be in a surplus, but technically I'm still in a deficit, and that's because, one, I'm making the assumption that I've burned more than the watch is tracking. What will happen is on Monday, if I start to put on body fat, then we'll know that I need to take the calories down a bit. But yeah, considering everything I just said, like with the fact that my weight's dropped so fast, is that I'm probably still burning about 3,000 a day. Gonna swallow a yawn, kind of a theme here when we do these ones. It's just ticked up to about midnight, so I'm just about to go to bed, get myself a good 8 hours sleep, and then get back onto work and stuff. But I gotta trust in the system. I mean, I'm nervous because whenever it says a surplus on my data, I'm now sort of going beyond the areas where I have knowable, measurable results that I can work with, where I can say, okay, when I ate this much, I knew this was going to happen. Now, My tech is saying you're going in the opposite direction. But the reality is I'm hoping that we can then start putting on some muscle mass so that we don't look really skinny. Today was actually a really interesting day. My PT posted my week 1 and my week 12 part of my body transformation. So it's kind of a bit weird. We just sort of see it put out there because I haven't actually posted it on my socials. I was actually going to wait until I got to the whole thing before I did this, but it's out there now. So this is on the Instagram. This is April 6th, 2022. And yeah, you can go look that up, that historical post, if it's depending on when you guys get to this. But yeah, it's weird. It's like in a good way. Like, it's obviously I should be proud of the results. It's just like I feel like my journey isn't finished. So when I sort of see that as like 12 weeks is what's possible, I understand for a lot of people that that's crazy results and then what they're really excited about. But for me, it's still pushing forward and working towards my goals. I don't know if I'll be done by May, but at the very least, I'll be in a position where I'm very comfortable. And in this case, from after that, my goals are going to be moving into putting on muscle mass and building from there. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out. I'm going to keep eating the surplus. We'll do the scan on Monday, and I want to still be under 10% body fat. I worked really, really hard to get here, and if I start shifting the other way, PT will tell me to put my calories down, and we'll go from there. Technically, what should happen on the results is that my body fat should still be coming down. I'm still technically in a deficit, which is actually weird. I was talking to one of the other guys in the gym, and he was like, "Oh wow, if you were still eating in a deficit, you'd be really struggling with these classes." And I'm like, "Well, technically I am. If I'm burning 3,000 and I've 2,800, I'm still at like a 200 deficit." Anyway, I'm rambling and I'm going to talk in circles, so let's call it here. Goals: stick to it, trust in the process, trust what I've been told, trust the data, get the scan, and then make decisions about what I'm going to do for week 13. So guys, cheers for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Today, I woke up sore. I'm not gonna lie, I woke up, I was feeling it quite heavy in my shoulders, in my legs. It was such a tough session. The boot camp, really, really worth it though. It's now sort of around lunchtime and I'm feeling a lot better, but initially when I woke up, I literally felt like somebody came in and beat me up in the middle of the night, and I was like, ow, but why? So, definitely something to keep in mind when you're doing some heavy training, especially if you do something new or something different. In fact, I wasn't even using that much weight in all fairness, but it was a huge number of reps that we were working with. It was high reps for high intensity. And yeah, feeling it today. So on the agenda, I've just basically got work and stuff to do. Tonight's class is Metcon, I think it's upper weights with the medicine ball. I can't remember if it's upper weights or it's just weights in general, but yeah, we'll be using a medicine ball, in which case it's great exercises for engaging your core, as you have to balance, for example, when you're doing chest press with the kettlebells. I'm kind of forgetting what they are. I remember that they leave me these nice little bruise tattoos here and here as I'm using them, essentially because of the way the weight rests, and you sort of like, you push them up and then you do this. Obviously, I'd be let down and it would look a lot clearer. You can check the videos to get an idea of exactly what the kind of workout looks like. So that'll be good. The weather is really nice. I need to take a bit of a walk at some stage, but I'll get to it. And yeah, I'm in really good spirits today. So I'm about to serve up food. So let me just jump over to the table and show you what we're eating. Again, it's another big meal. Gonna be in a surplus for the rest of the week, and I'm a little bit nervous to see how that plays out for this scan on Monday, but you know what? I'm just gonna do what I'm told. I trust. I've got this far with the advice that my PT's given me. I'm not gonna trust him for the next part. So yeah, let's jump over to the table. And this is meal 1 for today. So I have 555 grams of potato, 220 grams of turkey, 32 grams of absolute dark chocolate, and only 119 grams of avocado. A little bit less than I had yesterday. I think I was on about 150 yesterday, but it will average out. I've got another avocado to eat later. I'm really looking forward to eating this monster of a meal, and I'll catch you guys up for a little bit later with meal 2. And this is meal 2 for today. So I have 570 grams of chicken thighs. They're hidden under the mountain of potatoes, the 500 grams of potatoes I've got, and 134 grams of avocado, no chocolate. This brings me up to 2,820 calories. So it's a lot to, this is a lot to eat. This meal isn't 2,800, that's my total for the day. This is about 1,800. It's a lot later than I usually eat, so this goes outside of my fasting zone, so I'm not too happy. But I'll talk a little bit about that in the wrap up. Anyway, I really need to eat this. I'm starving, so I'll catch you guys for the wrap up in a bit. And guys, it's time to wrap up the day. So, feeling really, really tired. Good session of Metcon strength with the medicine balls. I'm trying to get used to using the 16 kilo weights, the 2 kettlebells for the presses. I'm getting there on that. A lot of my other exercises have been pretty good in that sense of going up in weight. I'm still struggling with natural fat. There's a new exercise which is you essentially squat and you put the 2 kettlebells down and then you flip them back up and then you stand back up. It's focusing on the squat movement, not the weight. I'm kind of struggling with that because I can do the standard squat down and you have a kettlebell essentially like this and you can imagine the weights over here and then you just, from the elbows, you lever it down, touch the floor, pick it back up. And the next step for that is doing it with 2, putting 2 down, picking 2 back up and standing up. That one was very, very tricky. Something to work towards. My data said I could have worked a lot harder in that class, but I was feeling it was pretty tough. I was pushing myself and it was still pretty hard. So I'm quite interested in why my data came out the way that it did. But yeah, I can just keep that in mind and try it out for next week. I'm getting a bit nervous because I've got the results for the calories for the day. So calories in was 2,784, calories out was 2,344, giving me a surplus of 440. So again, as I've mentioned quite a few times already in this video, that's probably because the watch hasn't been tracking my total output correctly. I believe I've been burning a lot more calories than my watch has been tracking, based on the fact that I've lost so much fat. But it's still kind of a bit nerve-wracking, to be honest, when I see I'm now in a surplus, when I've been focusing so much on the last 3 months being in a deficit. So I'm going to trust the system and I'll see what the scan says on Monday. Obviously, if that's too much, I need to be going out and doing some more walks, or my calorie output isn't as high as we're anticipating me in the PT. So just trust the system and be like, it's going to be okay. Doesn't matter that the data is saying what I'm doing is wrong for what my goals were. And my goal is now build a bit of muscle. So maybe being in a surplus is a good thing. I don't know, but we'll see. It all depends on if the body fat percentage, because that's what I want to keep down, the body fat percentage. My weight as such doesn't really mean anything to me as long as it's not fat. All right, guys, I'm going to keep it nice and short today. So I'm going to wrap it up and we'll be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm extremely busy with work. We have a game jam on. So essentially we will get broken up into little teams. We have to make a game in a day, and it's kind of like a studio team building exercise. So the videos are going to be very short and snappy tomorrow, but I'll give you some proper breakdowns on Saturday, and then we'll do a big review of the week on Sunday. So stay in the video and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Woke up today feeling a little bit sore from where we've been pushing the weights, and I'm going to be fine. It's just a case of like shaking it off and just getting on with things. It's not unbearable. It's not like when I used to train using the buff dudes methods and going heavy on squats and then finding yourself like my legs were absolutely dead. It was a hell of a workout, but ultimately you don't need to feel that way after every workout to know that you've actually had a good session. So today, yep, woke up, got a real good night's sleep. That weighted blanket is doing me absolute wonders. I'd recommend it for anybody who has problems sleeping. It's just makes me feel really comfortable. I actually struggle to get out of bed in the morning, whereas before I was like, oh, I guess it's light outside now, I've got to get up. But yeah, no, feeling really, really good about it. Today is upper weights. So essentially it's a bit of a bro split arms session. I think it's arms and shoulders that we're doing. But it'll be good. It'll be tough. Those ones are always absolutely killer, like the kickbacks and the various mirrored sets that we do on the biceps. It's a tough workout. It's definitely one to check out, and if you want to check the videos out for that particular workout, they should be in the description below. Yeah, I'm about to eat lunch. I'm on like I mentioned before, I'm doing a game jam for my work, so it's got to wrap this one up quite quickly. I don't actually have avocados today. I ran out and I don't have time to run to the store because we're in the middle of a competition. So I'm going to show you the food. It's just going to be potatoes, turkey, and a bit of chocolate, to be honest, and then I'll sort something out a little bit later. All right, guys, so I'm going to hop over to the dinner table and show you what I'm going to be eating, and I'll catch up with you a bit later. As promised, meal one for today. So there's 344 grams of turkey and 550 grams of potato and 29 grams absolute dark chocolate. I'm going to have to fill in the missing calories from the avocado with chicken thighs a little bit later, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I have to eat this and I gotta get back to my competition, so I'll catch you guys for meal two a little bit later after my class tonight. And this is meal two for today. So we have just over 600 grams of chicken thighs under that mountain of potatoes, which is 483 grams of those, and 31 grams of absolute dark chocolate. Our total daily calories come out at about 2,750. It's about 50 below. Unfortunately, I've had to miss my training session at the gym today. This competition at work thing, I kind of can't give out on it yet, even though I thought we would be finished by now. So what I'm going to do is do a workout at home. It's upper weights, so mirrored sets, and I remember most of the workouts, so I'll be doing them with the dumbbells I've got here. It's not going to quite be the same, but it'll be enough to get the workout done and yeah, challenge myself a little bit. So I'm going to do that, and I'll catch you guys to wrap up a little bit later. Hey guys, it's time to wrap up the day. So, because today was quite a big day with competition, with work and stuff, I wasn't able to get to training, but I did do a session here in my flat. I remember the workout for the upper weights, and I essentially just did that with a dumbbell. It's a little bit harder to do kickbacks because the weights that I've got here is just like one dumbbell. I can't adjust the weights, and it's much heavier than what I'd normally use. So I ended up switching down to a a skull crusher, but with one dumbbell and then flipping it over. Not ideal, but it was the best I could work with the equipment I have. And we'll get back into training full time next week as it is. So interestingly enough, I did step on the scale this morning. My weight has been creeping up. I am a little bit concerned about that. But again, the question is that coming on as fat, or is that coming on as muscle, or is that water weight? The scan will tell everything, and then we'll make adjustments based on that. Because for the first time since starting this, I'm in a surplus for a couple of days. So this is going to be the second day that I'm in a surplus. I'll go over the stats with you guys now. So I ate 2,782. So just shy of the 2,800 I'm aiming for. My macros were spot on. They were basically 25, 25, and yeah, the rest 50. My math is hard. It's just ticked over midnight, so struggling. So my surplus, my outgoings today, my calories was 2,188, giving me a surplus of 594. It worries me. It worries me because of what my goals were. This is the complete opposite. And part of that might just be due to the fact that I'm not walking. I didn't actually make it out for a walk today. My overall activity is a little bit lower than what it was when I was getting the original tracking for the past couple of months. So I'm gonna definitely get some action over the weekend. I'll go out for a walk, just try and make sure that I do get some activity in on the tracker. I'm supposed to be in about 1,000 calorie deficit overall per week, and I'm gonna eat 2,800 tomorrow and 2,800 again on Sunday. I'm not gonna be working out, so I'm gonna be in a surplus both of those days, and I'm worried that I'm not gonna be in that 1,000 deficit, but again, I can't panic until I see the scan, and the question is, am I over 10% body fat? If I am, then I'll talk to my PT about my goals. But I do want to put on some muscle, and I do know that traditionally you have like a bulking cycle, you'll eat more, and then you'll build muscle in that time. Gonna trust in the process, but again, it's just all of a sudden I'm moving into that gray area where my tech isn't 100% and it's new ground for me. So we'll see what happens, but I'm feeling very positive, and I know that because I'm eating very clean, I'm going to have plenty of time to change direction if something doesn't work out. God, those yawns, they always creep up on me around this time. So let's wrap it up here, guys, and we'll jump in again tomorrow. I'll give you an update of my day, my meals, and everything that's going on. And then Sunday we have the weekly wrap up. It should be good. I've got to go shopping again tomorrow. I'm getting through food a lot quicker. My food bills have definitely gone up. That's something we can explore when we get to Sunday when we do the wrap up. But yeah, see you again tomorrow. Today is Saturday. It's not a training day for me, so I'm going to be taking it nice and easy. Actually, that's not true. I need to go out and get my steps in. So one of my biggest problems is I'm worried that currently in a calorie surplus on the end of each of these days when originally it was intended that I'll be in about 1,000 deficit per day. Per day? Sorry, in total for over a week. So I'm going to make sure I go out and get my steps in, do quite a bit of exercise sort of outside. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've already edited together, so I just need to upload it. So while my computer is doing that, I've got a great excuse to go out and enjoy the sunshine. Overall, not feeling sore. I had an excellent night's sleep. Hydration, I'm keeping on top of it. I had a little bit less than I was supposed to yesterday. I drank about 4 liters instead of 4.5, but we'll just keep at it, keep working on it. Feeling really good though. Managed to get this shirt out of the wardrobe. Funny enough, one of the biggest problems I've always had with these kinds of shirts is I'm between sizes. My chest is actually quite broad, so as you can see here, it pulls on the button. So I've always had that, but then whenever I get the larger shirt, it ends up like they hang off me, and I look a little bit like I've sort of shrunk. So we just have to open it up just slightly enough for our manly chest to come through. We've been working quite hard on. Usually for me, I generally get a lot of my stuff at this point tailored. I don't know how privileged does that sound, but it's buying less clothes that are of higher standard and then just getting them tailored to my body type is a lot better for me than it is just going out and spending loads of money and finding stuff that just doesn't quite fit right. Because if you're going to put all the effort into getting into shape, why on earth would you not wear clothes that shows that off or in any way makes you feel like better about yourself and stuff like that? So I go a little bit higher on the quality, but I buy considerably less, and then I just get the shirts and stuff tailored. I buy for measurements for my chest, and then I get the stuff tailored around my hips, my waist, and stuff like that, just so it all kind of like holds in correctly. This shirt isn't actually tailored. This is one I bought in America in Las Vegas when I went a while ago. At that point, I was quite slim. Yeah, slim is a good word, and it fit. And then, sort of after coming back after like 3 or 4 months, this shirt didn't fit. So this is the first time I've got it out of the wardrobe since then. So I'm quite happy about that. Guys, I'm going to jump us over to the dinner table. Food is almost ready, and I'll show you what I'm eating. And yeah, I'll catch you for meals 1, 2, and a wrap up. So stay with me, and I'll see you soon. This is meal 1 for today. So 344 grams of turkey, which is going to be the last of what I had in the pack. And then I've got 515 grams of potatoes and 29 grams of absolute dark chocolate. So on my shopping, when I went around the store a little earlier, I picked up some pork belly. This is a lot denser in fat and lower in protein than the turkey. I'm going to try and make it work and make sure I'm trying to hit that 180 protein per day goal. But if it doesn't work out, I'll switch back to turkey. But yeah, hoping this will be a bit easier to keep my calories up and also get my costs down, because pork belly is really cheap compared to turkey. Turkey's like £5 for, what's that, like 600 grams, whereas pork belly, you get 750 grams in a pack for like £3 or something. You know what? I would double check that. Off the top of my head, that doesn't sound quite right, but I'll let you know. Right now, I'm going to tuck into this, and I'll catch you guys for meal 2 a little bit later. And this, guys, is meal 2. So we have 1,800 calories worth of food here. So we've got 600 grams of chicken thighs, 505 grams of potatoes, and 160 grams of avocados. So really looking forward to this. This will get us up to 2850 for the day. And yeah, we'll do a wrap up after that with the rest of the day, but I'm feeling pretty good. Hey guys, it's time for a wrap up of the day. So overall, we did hit our calories macro targets. I ended up eating 2,858 calories today, which is on target of what I've been told to do. I only burned off 2,327, so I'm actually in a surplus of 531. I did step on the scales this morning. My weight had gone up from the last weigh-in, which was 65.9 kilos, to 66.9. So there's about a kilo swing in it. Now, part of that could be water. I know I've been eating a lot more. For this, I am quite nervous. I'm not sure if I'm eating the right amount for what my goals are, but again, it all depends on what the scan is. Ultimately, I'd like to put on a bit of muscle. This is probably the best way to do it. Obviously, you need to be in a surplus to do that, although technically I should be in a deficit. But I think I'm being a little less active than I was earlier on. I was doing a lot more with walks and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep on top of it and just sort of make sure what's happening, and if the results come back and I have on a bit of fat, it'd be a case of just easing up a little bit, maybe readjust the carbs, and go from there. So it's like nothing's unfixable. Like it's just a week, collect the data and make decisions based on that data. It's not like I've left it 5 years and you're like, oh yeah, I got that real dad bod. Now I wonder why I should change my diet. So maybe stop eating McDonald's. You know, that's probably a good start. I'm not in that position. It would be a case of like how these minor changes are going to affect things. I'm nervous because I wanted to be. I'm kind of excited about seeing what the results are by May, and like anything that I perceive as a step back might like get in my head a little bit. Even though I know it's going to be fine in the long run. Yeah, not much else to report today. Energy levels have been great. I actually don't struggle anymore at all. I feel better. I haven't been drinking any caffeine, no sugar. Haven't been doing any of that. And you know what? I don't struggle to get up. I don't struggle to concentrate. I don't struggle to do stuff. Just kitchen appears to be moving by itself. You know how it is. So yeah, before paranormal activity kicks off in my flat, we should probably wrap this one up. Tomorrow is going to be a big review day, so we'll go over all the data and the stats. I've got my receipts and stuff. We can go over a bit of the cost, and we can go from there and see how we've done. But I'm feeling really good about it. Nervous, but good. That's a good sign, I think. So guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Almost coming up to 100 days right now, and I'm feeling great. Actually, I had to hesitate for a second. I'm really hungry right now. I'm about to set up food and eat. And I'll walk you through the meal because I'm doing something a little bit different today. Picked up some pork belly instead of turkey. It kind of messed up my macro calculations a little bit. So I'll cover that a little bit later when I get to the wrap up for the day. But overall, woke up today feeling pretty good. Got a good night's rest in. In fact, I didn't really want to get out of bed. I was ready to just sort of like snooze for quite a while, but I got myself up and I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit behind on my water. I should be through at least 2 liters already. However, I've just been busy working on other things and I tend to forget to start my day drinking that water. So I'm gonna have to, it's gonna be pretty tough to get through the 4.25 liters that I need to do for the rest of the day, but I'll just have to push myself to do it. I also need to go out for a walk, but I've got a couple of projects this evening I have to do. I've got a podcast that I'm doing, and I've also got a client meeting for another project that I'm on. So it is a little bit like I've got to try and fit in a walk around that time as well. I'm hoping I have enough time because I've also got a video that I've got to edit for another project for another client as well. A great way to spend your Sunday, right? Working on all of your side projects. But I'm doing okay. My weight on the scale today, it's actually gone up. It was 67.2. My lowest weigh-in to date was 65.9. And I'm a little bit nervous because that's essentially just, what was that, 1.3 kilo increase over the week of increasing my calories to 2,800. The scan's going to be telling. The question is, am I still below 10% body fat? If the answer is yes, and the body fat percentage has gone down and I've picked it up in muscle, it's not going to... No one picks up a kilo of muscle, let's be honest, in a week. That would be someone on the gear, obviously. But I'm expecting that I've probably put on a little bit more there, and I'll probably need to do a tiny bit of a tweak on the number of calories that I'm eating. But I'll be able to sort all that out. Or it's just a case of I'm probably going to have to be more active, more aggressive with my steps in order to keep up with my calories coming in. But we'll see. We're on the scan, and I'll walk you through what I'm about to eat now, and meal 2, then the wrap up. So, usual schedule. Alright guys, stick with me and let's see the meals. And this is meal 1 for today. So there's 250 grams of pork belly under 520 grams of potato, and then there's 30 grams of absolute dark chocolate. So one of the problems with the pork belly is it's very, very calorie dense. So this is like 900 calories just in the pork belly alone, because there's 250 of it. But the protein content is only about 77 grams, and I'm supposed to be getting to 180 per day. And combined with my usual plan of turkey thighs is going to end up putting me about 170, so I'm going to be below my target. It's great, but I think I've now got a bit of an understanding about how to plan meals. Essentially, the correct play seems to be have a calorie dense meal. It's going to be a fat focused meal, and then have a macro focused meal to get your levels out correctly. I'll think about this a little bit more, and I will let you guys know in the wrap up later today. But right now, I'm going to eat this and get on with that editing. And this is meal 2 for today. So I have 360 grams of chicken thighs, 345 grams of potatoes, 29 grams of absolute dark chocolate, and 140 grams of avocado. So this kind of messes up my macros a little bit because I'm nowhere near the protein goal. I'm about 151 when I'm supposed to be eating about 180. So I'm going to have to rethink the shop. I wanted to slip some pork in there, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that and hit my targets. So we'll cover that a bit in the wrap up today because I've got to eat this and I've got a meeting I've got to jump into. So I'll catch you guys in a bit for a wrap up. I've got the stats. I'm going to break them down. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous. I've done what I'm supposed to do, but it's kind of completely counterproductive to what I've been trying to do this entire time. So I'm interested to see what the scan tomorrow tells me before making adjustments to my diet. So let's start with the stats, and I'll talk about what we changed and what we're going to look at changing next time that I go to the store or have other stuff come up. So for all the stats, on average, I ate 2,817 calories. So pretty spot on with what my targets were set by my PT. My deficit was 2,443, which is probably not 100% correct. I burn more than my watch reports, but it's still kind of difficult when the data I'm saying then means I'm in an average surplus of 374, and I'm supposed to be at about 1,000 deficit per week. So that would mean that I'm not at a deficit. It would mean I'm at a 2,600 surplus. I'll check with the PT and see what the scan. If my body fat's gone up, in which case we'll then tone it down, and that should put me in a sweet spot. Because technically this is still a cut, believe it or not. But we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. My steps was 4,955. I need to get these up. It's probably at that point now where I need to start doing it. Before I didn't need to. I was hitting my calorie goals no problem at all, and I didn't really have to go out. I didn't really have to do anything extra other than training, and I was getting there. So that might need to change moving forward. We'll see. My macro breakdown was carbohydrates 24%, 1% off of my target. Fats 46%. That's actually a little bit below target. It should be 50%. And protein 30%. So I was actually over, and on average that was about 221 grams of protein a day. My target is 180. So did really, really well on that. Turkey has been fantastic for hitting those protein goals. I did mention earlier today that I think I've cracked the diet split because I tried to do something different. I haven't had pork in a while, and it's a bit cheaper, so I figured I'll try buying some. It's actually very hard for me to hit my macronutrient targets eating pork because I've got 2 fat dense meals. So if you just want to get calories in, fat dense meals like pork belly or chicken thighs are a way to go, but you shouldn't have them both in the same day when you've got aggressive macro targets for protein, because then you would just end up not being able to get it. I got like 151 protein. I'm supposed to have 180 a day. Admittedly, most of the rest of the week I was eating turkey, so I was at 220, so it averages out correctly, but I've got 4 days worth of pork to get through now. And it's a little bit difficult because it brought up my calorie count so high. It was also difficult to get my carbohydrate goals in. I was getting around 20%. It's great when you're at that phase where you're just trying to lose fat, but when you start then tinkering with the macros, it's probably a good idea to have one macro meal. So that's going to be a meal that's very, very targeted aggressively to your macronutrients. So I recommend if you're doing protein, things like turkey or very, very protein dense food. And then a calorie dense food, which would be like chicken thighs or your pork belly, would pair well with that, and then you'd essentially get your calorie amount up, and your macros would line up quite nicely. So I've got 3 more days of the pork and chicken thighs, and I'll just get back to turkey, and I'm not going to change it from there. That'll be very good. All in all, very successful week on eating. I'm nervous about how much I've burned, and I'm hoping I haven't started to put body fat back on, but we'll see. If I have, check with the PT. I keep saying this because obviously I'm quite nervous about it when I've been keeping on with my goals, and for the first time I've started to see my weight on the scale going up. So I'm a little, we'll see how it comes out. Yeah, so I actually want to show you guys progress photos. These were technically taken tomorrow, but it's kind of a reflection of this previous week, so you can enjoy them now. I say enjoy them. I do like to take a bit of pride. So far, so good. I'm loving that I am when I see where I came from to where I am right now. I want to fill out a bit more and be a little bit more in the muscle and a little bit less skinny. My 12-week photo, I look at it and I should be very proud, but I still feel very, very skinny in there and I don't like it. It's it's still an achievement and I can sort of see how lean I've gotten, but yeah, I just look at it and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not done yet. I'm not happy with that 100%. Like I'm loving the results so far, but still got room to go. Um, Food budget, yes. So it's basically working out if you shop in Sainsbury's, which is sort of like the mid-tier for the UK shopping supermarkets. My average shop is coming out at about £20 per 4 days. So over a month, I can look to spend about £150 on food for what I'm doing at this point. I To be fair, it would actually be a little bit more than this. It'd be closer to about 22 or £25 if I had turkey the whole week, because this is the last receipt that I got. And of course, the chocolate as well. I had a lot of chocolate in the beginning, and I'm starting to get through those reserves, so I'm going to have to buy it a little bit more frequently, and then that sort of starts bringing the price up as well, because it turns out that cocoa was one of the things that we lost during the pandemic. Just there wasn't enough made, so it's only like one company that's sort of got 100% dark chocolate, and they're charging about £2.50 a bar, which is fine. You're paying good quality, and that's literally all that's in it is cocoa. There's like no butters or anything else added, so it's good stuff. But it is kind of expensive, and yeah, the shopping bills are coming up just a little bit, but it's within range for what my goals are, and it's fine. It's just making sure that I do stick to turkey. I tried experimenting with the pork, that hasn't worked out. As soon as I run out of that, we'll get back on the turkey and then we'll be hitting our protein goals. Got 5 days worth of training lined up for next week. I missed training on Friday, but I did do the workout at home with the equipment that I have, and I basically followed exactly what I'd be doing there. Timed everything with the same number of sets and reps. So I should be, that was a pretty accurate representation of how much I would have burned in that class. But yeah, we'll get 5 days in and we'll go hard after it. And yeah, looking forward to it. I'm dreading Wednesday's class, Boot Camp 2 is what it's called. That was a really, really tough class. I've got Metcon cards tomorrow. That's always a really tough one. But the first time I did it last week, I was just coming back off of a cold, so I was struggling to keep up with the rep ranges. Hopefully I'll be all right on this one, and I'll be careful not to run so hard I injure my foot. That's something I've got to avoid doing. I've done it more than once now. And it's just that kind of, that top part of your foot, like, you know, if this was a foot, right, I'm not going to get my foot out here because you got some perverts that are probably better suited for OnlyFans. But the top part of your foot, I kind of hit that a bit hard. And yeah, it's still to this day, like even after I've done that, like every now and again when I move on certain parts of my foot, I can feel where I injured it. So try and not run too hard, even though we've got run hard sections. And yeah, all in all, it should be a productive week. So let's wrap this up here. Guys, thanks for watching. If you are enjoying this speaking of comments, feel free to leave them down below. Let us know how you're getting on with your own fitness journeys. It is very important that we are honest and share what is working, what isn't working, or if you've got any questions, please let me know down below. I'll do my best to get back to you and let you know, maybe give you some advice if you need some pointers. But yeah, if you want to subscribe to this channel, then you'll make sure that you will catch the next episode and you won't miss anything. Yeah, if you're just catching up with us now, I'd recommend going back to the start, watching the trailer that introduces how everything works, what all the rules are, and just sort of following along with the journey. And all the affiliate links down below, they do help the channel when you go through that, and that's all the gear that I used personally and all of the supplements that I took whilst on this journey. I haven't included anything that I didn't use, and we're not doing snake oil, just stuff. So you can look at my results, you can look at my photos, my progress, my body, and say, all right, if I'm happy with that direction, then okay, this stuff is good for me. If it's not, then you don't need to. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to catching you again next week for, well, we're going to be going over day 100. And we're getting ever closer to that May deadline of what we were shooting for. So, see you next time. Cheers.